Fryman, last night's ultimate hero in the ninth inning with his bases loaded single. The count goes to 2-1 to Travis. This was his worst year as a big leaguer. He had all kinds of injury problems. Fryman spent 80 days on the disabled list. He was on the list once for a back problem. Then he suffered a torn ligament in his right knee. And he is not at full capability even yet. But as Mike Hargrove said, he likes having even 90% of Travis Fryman over a lot of other guys. So Travis is in there, and he delivered last night for them in the clutch. 3-1 the count. Look at that. A walk. Brett Saberhagen issuing a walk. He had not walked any of the last 111 leadoff men in an inning that he had faced.
Glad you could find that note. I couldn't. But I'd read it someplace. I knew it was an astronomical number. He had not walked a leadoff hitter. I mean, that's amazing, John.
I guess it was your note, but
you stole it. I know.
I don't
know. That's okay. That's okay. We work together. You work together.
You can have it back.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm really. But that is pretty amazing.
Yeah. 111 straight batters. I mean,
if you pitched a 9-inning game, of course it'd be 9 leadoff men.
Yeah.
So what would that be? That'd be 12 consecutive 9-inning games, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a couple of months worth of complete games.
It's amazing.
0-2 the count to Sandy Alomar. He also spent much of this season on the disabled list. Only played 37 games. He's wearing a very bulky looking brace on his left knee. You can see it there protruding beneath his pant leg. Curveball from Saberhagen. It's one of the few he's attempted here.
Yeah.
1-2.
There's a little difference in the hitting styles. If you go through the Cleveland lineup and you try to figure out which ones you could use the breaking ball on, it would be Travis Fryman and Sandy Alomar. Those are the two guys you probably want to use a curveball on more than, say, Lofton, Alomar, and Ramirez.
A ball and 2 strikes. Runner at first. 2-2. Fastball missing. Leadoff man Kenny Lofton on deck. Remember, Derek Lowe worked 4 innings last night because of the injury that took Pedro Martinez out of the game. Lowe has been one of the top Red Sox relievers, particularly against Cleveland. I mean, he's been murder on the Cleveland lineup, and he will not be used today, according to Jimmy Williams. Double play ball to short. Garcia Parra, the second for 1, and the relay by Offerman pulled him off the bag. So Offerman, who is not your classic second baseman and often has trouble turning that double play, and we saw it illustrated right there.
Well, this should have been a routine double play. You see, he had plenty of time, but what happened, he threw leaning back, so the ball, was released high.
Now Kenny Lofton. Alomar at first. He chased that high fastball and didn't get it. Lofton was caught out on strikes his first time. That's another point, Joe. Here's this Red Sox team. They have a very small margin for error.
Exactly.
Especially against a strong club. And this is a club that's built basically on pitching and defense. Yeah. I mean, there is offense there, but it's not that big-time offense you see from the other American League postseason teams. Nice pitch right on the outside. It is 0-2. I mean, they really can't afford these little slip-ups. Last night, look what happened on the routine-looking play to Valentin. The throwing error. Stanley can't handle the low throw. The next batter, boom, 2-run homer.
Well, you're right. You cannot afford to give the Indians an extra out.
I mean, this should be 2 down and nobody on right now. He got a made-to-order double play ball from a guy who figures to hit a lot of double play balls.
Yeah, Alomar Jr. doesn't run well, and especially with the bad knee and that big brace on it, he's not going to run well. And that's why I say he had plenty of time, but, it just happens, and he was not a good throw to first base.
0-2 the count to Lofton. Omar Vizquel on deck. Very high. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, we saw him pitch Lofton inside the first time up, and you can see why, because Lofton, even though he's not that far from the plate, he still goes in a little bit. The one thing is, Lofton eventually will look for the ball inside.
And the changeup missed. 2-2 to Kenny Lofton. Fred Saberhagen, who says that it's about a 100% certainty that he will have surgery done at the end of the season on his shoulder.
He had so much surgery there, John. I just wonder
how much.
What is there? Yeah, how much more can you do?
I mean, at one time he snapped 2 ligaments in his right shoulder, and it was a career-threatening injury.
Beautiful pitch. Just missed over the outside part of the plate.
It looked very similar to what was called strike 2 in this same at bat. That's his 45th pitch thrown already, after only 2 in the 3rd innings. We'll keep an eye on Sandy Alomar with a 3-2 count at first base. He is running. Alomar went up after what might have been ball 4 there. The high fastball, and he fouled it.
Well, anytime you put a runner in motion, you put a little more pressure on the defense. Someone has to cover second base, and everyone else has to shorten up a little bit. So you're opening up a bigger hole than would be there if you let him stay at first base.
Alomar was running on the previous pitch. 3-2. There goes Sandy. And a pop-up foul. Again, he chased that high fastball. He'd not been able to lay off it here against Saberhagen. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Saberhagen had that career-threatening injury years and years ago to his right shoulder. The reconstructive surgery required practically reattaching the shoulder. I mean, it was just a nightmare. But he made a remarkable, almost miraculous recovery from that. And it's a long list of surgeries. Runner going, and again, this time on a changeup. Lofton fouling it back. Saberhagen has had 3 shoulder surgeries, 2 elbow surgeries, and 1 knee surgery, as well as being on the disabled list 3 times this year. Twice for a strained right shoulder, once for a laceration to his left foot. This is the 10th pitch of this at bat. Alomar runs, and it's ball 4. So the pitch count is mounting. 2 men on, 1 man out, and it's starting to get dangerous. Red Sox lead 1-0. But here is Omar Vizquel. Roberto Alomar on deck. Popped him up. Foul. Coming back is Varitek, but it is out of play. 0-1.
John, you mentioned last night's ball game for the Red Sox. They actually took a double whammy, because if they would have just lost the game with Pedro, they would still have Derek Lowe left. And he is, their best pitcher coming out of the bullpen in long relief. But they lost the game, they lost Pedro, and they used Derek Lowe. So that's a double whammy as far as I'm concerned. If you just go and lose with Pedro, you still have a guy. And they lost 2 guys that were very valuable to them and still lost the ball game.
Change up and away. That's the 51st pitch thrown by Saberhagen. All but 11 of them have been fastballs. And we've seen, I don't know, 1 or 2 curveballs. There's Sandy Alomar at second. Kenny Lofton at first. On the inside, he got the call. Strike 2, and Vizquel was not happy about it. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And as you mentioned, it's the 2nd strike on the inside corner. Vizquel not happy, as was Lofton in the 1st inning on an inside fastball.
2 men on via base on balls. That one is hit deep down the right field line. Into the corner. It is off the base of the wall. Alomar scores. Lofton right behind him. It's a triple for Vizquel. 2-1 Cleveland.
And any little mistake just doubles the stress you're under.
The infield comes in for Roberto Alomar. And here's Saberhagen with the aching right shoulder, the frayed rotator cuff, and he is in one of those hellacious innings here at the Jake.
And you might as well just count this run. I mean, you're not going to strike Roberto Alomar out in this situation.
Too low. Alomar ripped a double off the left field wall his first time. Vizquel, who hit 4 triples in the regular season, getting one just over the glove of Trot Nixon here for a big postseason triple. Remember, Vizquel, hitting second, had 66 RBIs. fastball by. 2-1. Well, last night, and I don't mean to belabor the point on Valentin, but the error in Cleveland puts 2 on the board 1 pitch later, and now the missed double play, and there's 2 runs on the board just like that.
Well, the problem is you're at a disadvantage when you're playing the Indians anyway, so you just have to play almost a perfect game to beat them.
That changeup catches the outside. Alomar didn't think so. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And on top of all of that, 2 walks in the inning by Saberhagen. Only 2 times all year did he have a game where he walked more than 1. 2-2 the count. 29 pitches thrown in this inning, including 10 to Kenny Lofton. That one is cracked down the right field line. Nixon on the run. That's in there. He'll have to go chase it. Alomar has gotten Vizquel home. Another double for Roberto Alomar, his second of the game. 3-1 Cleveland. Now Manny Ramirez again with a man in scoring position. And here at Jacobs Field, the Cleveland fans can sense the Cleveland Indians going for the jugular. The curveball hit high in the air to right center. Drifting over. Buford near the warning track. Roberto Alomar tags up at second and goes over to third. Thome popped up to short his first time. A changeup for a called strike. The Boston bullpen is busy. As Brett Saberhagen, this is exactly what Jimmy Williams and the Red Sox did not want to see happen. For Saberhagen to have one of these horrible, nightmarish, high-pitch innings, high-stress innings. Fastball just missing inside. As Rick Sutcliffe pointed out, after every pitch you see Saberhagen stretching it out a little bit, stretching out that shoulder a little bit. There's John Wasden, the right-hander up in the bullpen. It's 33 pitches in this inning now for Saberhagen. Change up in the dirt. 2-0. Let's go to Rick Sutcliffe.
John, Robbie Alomar can beat you in so many ways. Not only 2 doubles this afternoon against Saberhagen, but in those 2 at-bats, it's taken Saberhagen 14 pitches to get the doubles out of Alomar, and because of that, his day is almost over.
Well, interesting point, Rick. Roberto Alomar, who's one of those guys who'll make you throw a lot of pitches. He'll take a walk, foul off tight ones. Fastball too high. So it goes on.
Well, I think he's in a situation now, like I say, where he was trying to get Alomar to chase a high pitch and strike out. Now he just tried it with Jim Thome. But you're right. I don't know how much he has left because he has thrown a lot of pitches under pressure.
And another walk. He has walked 3 in the same inning. This from a pitcher who walked 11 in the whole season.
But it's also a tough time to be out there trying to get Harold Baines out if you don't have your pinpoint control.
Baines singled to right his first time. That one is hit deep in the right center field. Trot Nixon is going back, still going back, and it's gone! Home run, Harold Baines. It's a 5-run inning. David Justice, the hitter, taking a called strike 1 from John Wasden. Justice, the 9th man to bat in this inning. He grounded into a double play to end the second inning. And of course, double plays, turned and not turned, has turned into a theme of this ball game. And a changeup for a strike. It was almost like a foreshadowing of the missed double play here in the third. A poor feed by Jose Offerman on Justice's double play ball. In the second inning, Offerman flipped the ball rather poorly to Garcia Parra. A low toss, but Garcia Parra handled it and got the double play. But then it was Offerman, the middleman, on the pivot for the double play in this inning that might have precluded all of this from happening. And he made a poor throw to first. They did not get the double play. Instead of 2 down and nobody on, and Lofton coming up. 1 out, 1 on. Lofton had that 10-pitch at bat with Saberhagen still in the stretches. You pointed out, Joe. That's into right field. Going back, Nixon in front of the wall, and he makes the catch. slams into the wall, bounces off, and although it rattled his bones, he held on to it. Another explosion from the Cleveland Indians. 6-1 Cleveland.